Welcome back. It's been a topsy-turvy week, up and down for the both of us. Let's get right into it.
Mainly down for me the last few weeks, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. It's been slightly... These past few weeks have been pretty rough as a City fan. I'm not going to lie. It's not just the results. It's in the manner of the way those results are coming. Our defense is looking as it did in days of time when people were criticizing Pep's defense. Not too long ago, just a few short years ago. We're getting opened up defensively in Spurs. What we're getting right into, 3-2, Manchester City, Tottenham.
3-3.
It was a goals fest. From a neutral's point of view,
I liked it. I mean, I thought
it
was a fantastic game from start to finish, especially when you have two balls going in the back of the net. I won't say two goals because one was an own goal, but two balls on the back of the net within 10 minutes, you know it's going to be a fun game.
Right into it. I mean, Heung-min Son, off of a set piece, I think it was a corner, Heung-min Son counterattack. Why Doku is there? Okay, here's the problem. Pep Guardiola, get it together.
Let him know.
Why is Doku... Tell him how to manage the club. Why is Doku there?
Why is Doku your last man?
Doku there? Why? He looked like an imbecile trying to cover Heung-min Son, okay? And I'm not even going to blame that on Doku because it's not his job, okay? He's a winger. Should he be putting in shift defensively working? Yes. But should he be the last man back on a one-on-one? No. Definitely not. I don't care how fast he is.
It's those moments there that just kind of show...
I don't care.
That this team, like, they have their overall plan. They know what their overall assignments are. But when you get into the real detail-specific, real detail-oriented things that usually we expect Pep to have a handle on, for some reason against Spurs... that attention to detail was not there.
It seems that Spurs are our kryptonite, you could say. Tottenham, over the years, have just been that one team to get under our skin.
Yeah.
And then, but not a few short minutes later, set piece, Julian Alvarez whipping it in, get a little lucky, Heung-min Son off of his knee, bouncing in the back of the net. A goal, then an own goal. What are you going to do? I mean, pretty lucky for us, though. Not too long after, in the first half, just about 30 minutes in, Phil Foden, beautiful, beautiful touch and goal. This kid, week in, week out, performing at a really good level. Could I see him doing more? Yes, in certain games. Do I want more from him sometimes? Yes. But he shows up in good moments. He's getting goals and assists. You know, that's like the important thing nowadays. Yeah. He plays a part defensively in midfield. He does his thing. He does go missing in some points of the game, though, I will say. But, you know, it's a 90-minute game. You can't be on the ball every minute of every game, you know what I mean? But he gets his goal, really nice goal. Then not shortly after that, Lo Celso, okay, now we're 2-2. Lo Celso scores a really good goal, I'm not going to lie. Ederson on some of these goals, I'm not going to lie. Ederson and the defense, been very sus, as I said earlier. We continue on. Jack Grealish makes it 3-2. Beautiful, beautiful build-up. Gets his first goal in like 27 games. I think the commentator said, like, good God.
The guy has less than, I want to say, 20 goals in his whole senior career. Like, in 10 years, he's only scored, I want to say, don't quote me on it, it's 17 goals. Which isn't exactly what you'd expect from a $100 million player. But that's not what he's there for. He's there to help link up that play, help really transition into attack, and he did well against Tottenham. Him and Foden really paired up well. There was a couple of moments that they looked like they were just unplayable for that Spurs defense.
Yeah, it's a treat to see that, but we want more from Jack Grealish, obviously. And this game, honestly, we just got picked apart. Like, we got spread open by Tottenham. Like, again, it's year after year. For some reason, our defenders can't defend. I don't know. Kyle Walker this season's been lacking. Akanji been lacking. Diaz way been lacking for what we're used to. Gavardio at left back.
lacking.
We're starting to see maybe this kid is not a left back. Does a left-sided center back who is versatile on the ball, who does like to push forward a little bit, you know what I mean? He likes to, do his thing on the ball. He likes to make long passes and such. Do you put somebody like that out at left back though? Is that smart to do that? Make him is he uncomfortable doing that? Maybe he doesn't think so, but what we're seeing is him out there on the left side. What happened when we played Liverpool? We tied Liverpool 1-1. Who's out there? Ake. Why is Ake lining up? Why does Pep Guardiola coaching, man, coaching. You even did it yourself. You put Ake up against Salah, possibly the best winger in the league, probably. And then every other game now we see Guardiola at left back. And this guy he looks shaky. He doesn't look really up for it at left back. For some reason, I want to see him more at left center back. Maybe he needs some time to get used to the Premier League and then go into that left back position. Maybe he's just too far out. He's got too much space in front of him and behind him. I don't know what it is, but it's just not working. It doesn't look right. The whole defense this season has been lacking, and you can see it. Even Rodri, this man is working his socks off in the midfield, getting pissed off at players the whole game, yelling at everybody. You can see all the highlights throughout the game, yelling at people, trying to get people up. Like, it's the defensive aspect of our game is lacking. And then later on, we're starting to see it affect our attacking ability in our next game for Manchester City. But this one ends 3-3. We score some goals, but we're conceding too many. It's a problem. Coaching had a problem. Players had some problems. We need more.
And on to the down part of Trevin's week. We all know what happened. Newcastle played United off the pitch. We were terrible. We ran, just to give you guys just some kind of indicator to point you into the direction of how bad we were. We ran 7 kilometers, figure it out in miles yourself. I don't know, I'm an American. 7 kilometers less than we had ran in any other game this year.
Wow.
We were terrible. We've seen the reports come out after this game, how they're training too hard, how the structure of training and the drills that they do are too much on these poor $100 million, 100,000 pound a week players. Get the fuck over it. This is your job. Your job is to press. Your job is to be in those positions and run your fucking socks off for the badge. I don't care what team you play for. You run. From the first minute till the 75th, I want to see you busting a gut. And from then on, yeah, you're probably tired. I'm a big fat dude. I'm not getting out there, but I'm also not getting paid all that money.
Best believe if Big Trev was getting paid that money, he'd be out there running.
You see me out there like Harry Maguire in that motherfucker.
Yeah, boy.
Because this team, just for whatever reason, lacked the effort. The basic most principle of this system is effort. Putting in the shift. It doesn't matter if we're down, up. It doesn't matter. You have to run. And they didn't. We saw it with Rashford and Martial and McTominay. Those three had one of the worst performances from each of them that I've ever seen in a United shirt. Rashford has had so much grace from me because he is such a great player, and I know the heights that he can reach, that he was just in 6 months ago. But this dude is terrible right now. He's not even doing the most basic things like tracking back. He loses the ball, and instead of going after Trippier, who's 2 feet away from him, he lets him go. And he puts his head down. And I can't stand it.
Props to Anthony Gordon, though. Pretty good season, you know. He came in from Everton to Newcastle. Like, what, 40 million, 50 million, somewhere in that price range. I don't know if he was starting at first, but Eddie Howe's finally getting a tick out of him this season. He's off to a good start though. So.
They're a good team, Newcastle.
They are a good team.
And it just shocks me that United would go into this game with no preparation, with no readiness. They did not want any part of this Newcastle team, because if there's one thing that you can say about Newcastle, it's that they try. They put forward that effort. It doesn't matter if they have the ability of Joe Linton. That dude has work rate. I don't care what anyone else in the world thinks about him other than he has the effort that none of our midfield had. McTominay does not track back on runs. He's only interested in running forward. And there's nothing that he or anyone can do to change him doing that. I don't understand why they don't care.
Nice.
We'll
Cool.
cut it there. Do you want to go to City now? And then
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, we come back and it just gets worse. We continue on. It's the second game we're going to cover. Manchester City, Aston Villa. 1-0 Aston Villa. Before I get into it, City's asshole real quick, I just want to give real quick props to Aston Villa. Aston Villa and Unai Emery went out there and played their socks off. They pressed every part of the pitch. They dominated the midfield. Unai Emery from minute 1 had Pep shaking in his boots on the touchline. I mean, it was ridiculous. You want to say 1-0, but it was not just 1-0. The Manchester, I've never seen, I truly, not even just ball possession or anything, I've never seen Manchester City look so inferior to an opposition.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. Since Pep Guardiola, I'm so serious. It's with the players we have. And Aston Villa is a class team. They're on an insane win streak. They're 14 wins now after beating City.
3rd in the league, just incredible.
They're an amazing team. They have an amazing coach, a really good structure. I can't take anything away from them. They are a really good team. But oh my God, we played like shit. Like shit. 2 shots. 2 shots, Trevin. We had 2 shots. Manchester City. Pep Guardiola. Beautiful football.
Treble winners.
115
charges.
115 charges, Trevin. We have 115 charges, and you tell me we can only get 2 shots on Aston Villa?
This team is known for their chance creation, for their ability to just pepper shots at the goalie. They do it at will, with ease. And Villa were able to just shut it down.
John Stones is working his socks off in midfield. Okay? The defense looked alright at moments. They played alright. Okay? But every single time we had the ball and they were pressing and we could not get out of it. They were immediately on us in our own half. We couldn't. That's what we do. That's what we're known for. That's what Pep Guardiola does, is playing around the press. We couldn't get the ball on our side of the field. And when we did, we gave it away again immediately. They absolutely owned the midfield. Absolutely ran us off. Kamara, Tielemans, McGinn, I don't know, there's probably somebody else running in there too. They absolutely dominated. Just because Rodri isn't in the side doesn't mean we shouldn't be winning games. It's Aston Villa, who are a brilliant team, but we shouldn't be putting up 2 shots. Okay?
Yeah.
The defense, every time they got the ball and were running at us in a counterattack, I thought we were going to concede. Seriously, every single time it was either a really good last play right at the end or the player fucked up. And it happened way too often. And more often than not, it was the player just messing up right at the end. But it's still, every single time they had a counterattack, we looked so open. We looked so vulnerable. Everybody's so spread apart. Gavardio, oh my God. I'm getting a headache thinking about it. The team was just absolutely shambolic.
Aston Villa is a really class team, like Tanner has said. But when you think about some of the performances that Villa have had against big teams this year, like you think back to the 5-1 loss that they had against Newcastle right at the beginning of the season. They lost 5-1. That's a horrible scoreline to lose to. But at the same time, that team had the bones, it had the structure, it had the movement of a developing team. And to see where they're at now, able to win 1-0 over City, is not an easy feat to do. And trust me when I'm saying that. We have a billion-pound squad, and we've been able to beat them twice in the last 4 years.
It's absolutely insane. Like it's it's most concerning just because it's been over the course of a few games, and now it's some draws here, you know, a loss or whatever happens. You're like, oh, it is what it is. But now we lose. Not only do we lose, but we were embarrassed. Honestly, we were embarrassed. It was embarrassing. Like, there's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Manchester City got absolutely outplayed by Aston Villa. All props to them. They absolutely deserved it.
Shout out Unai. Fuck. The good up from this week for Trevin. We had a good 2-1 win over Chelsea in Old Trafford. Absolutely had to have it.
I'm absolutely bitter.
No other way to say it. Had to have it. Chelsea were coming in as a mid-table team. United are coming in with the form of a mid-table team. And that's what this first 20 minutes looked like. This team and Chelsea were going back and forth the whole time. It was so wide open. I mentioned earlier how Scott McTominay doesn't run back. Didn't do it in this game either. That whole first half, even when after we scored the goal, that whole first half, he's not coming back for anything. Leaving Amrabat back there by himself. Shout out, Sofyan Amrabat.
Amrabat
had a great game. The best game we've seen him in a red shirt this year. He was everywhere. Did give the ball away once in the very beginning. You know, 10 minutes in, the nerves are still getting to you. You're settling in. He had one bad pass, and Chelsea had a chance. But then from then on, he really switched it on. He was the example that needs to be shown in this team in the midfield when you have Bruno and McTominay there. Because we know Bruno will help defensively, but that's not what we need him for.
When are we going to take out McTominay and put in Kobe Manu and Amrabat? And then maybe, I saw, okay, before I get to, maybe so Casemiro on his way out, possibly. But anyway, Casemiro in there, you know, and then maybe Kobe Manu taken out or whatever. But Amrabat, Casemiro, I know we've seen that a few times, don't know if that really worked. But Amrabat in that type of form, and Kobe Manu, who's playing actually
coming
like a dog.
This team has the structure, when everyone's healthy, of a really good spine. I mean, if you think about Onana, yes, he has had some mistakes this year, but throughout his career, he has been a very solid, quality keeper. Martinez, solid, quality center back. Casemiro, the best DM in the last 10 years. Not right now, obviously, but in the last 10 years, he's been the best. We have a striker in Højlund who seems to care, and Bruno in the midfield. And that really set us apart. Those few players, obviously excluding Casemiro and Martinez who are hurt, but those few players set this team apart and got us that win.
Okay, that's all. I am absolutely flabbergasted. Okay, so we got our next few games are easier fixtures. I think we got Crystal Palace, 2 other easier fixtures, you would say, winnable games. So I would definitely want to see a huge turnaround. And this, it's my skin's crawling when we lose. I don't know how you deal with it. I don't know how you do it.
Now Tanner knows what it's like.
It's been like 3 or 4 games in a row, and it's not just the score line; it's the performances too behind it. You can see something's not right.
Something's off.
And the defensive line, something's going wrong. Kyle Walker's gone missing. His cousin's here. He signs in. He says he's staying, and then he left. Somebody else came back and replaced him. I don't know what's going on. Our defense, Ruben Diaz needs to get back on it. Ederson is playing like buns.
I like the way that this feels right now. For the first time in so long, I'm not terribly pissed off because of the result we just had. Obviously, if you'd asked me after Newcastle, fuck the whole team. I don't even care. But at this point, I'm alright.
Alright, and that's all. So we're done. We'll let you know what happens. Hopefully City win.
Leave it in the comments. Let us know who United's 3 points behind after this shitty season.
Oh my god, bro. 3 points behind. Shut up, bro.